Welcome to Business That Pays with Adam Tolliver from Artisan Financial Strategies, where we mind the business that pays you. In this podcast, we empower successful families and business owners to make informed decisions about their finances through courageous conversations. Through his expertise as a practicing investment advisor representative, Adam teaches you how to create a wealth ecosystem by combining a practical technical framework with your personal, family, and community values. Join us for this journey where Adam normalizes sustainable wealth building and gives you the keys to make courageous, proactive financial decisions.
Welcome to the Business That Pays podcast with Adam Tolliver of Artisan Financial Strategies. I'm Patrice Sikora. This is the first episode of this series, and what better time to learn all about Adam from Adam. So Adam, let's start at the beginning, shall we? How'd you get into the business in the first place?
Thank you so much, Patrice. It's funny because I do not have some great profound story about how I got into the business. I initially came into financial services because I needed a job. So
right.
I was moving back home to Atlanta after being in school down in Tallahassee, Florida, Go Noles, Florida State University, for a few years. And when I got back, I needed somewhere to work. So I got my start in banking. My dad has a background in banking. And initially it was just for an income, but not too long after I started, I would realize some patterns with a lot of the people that I was working with. My clients were facing a lot of the same issues. And to an extent, what I was able to do for them in the bank in my role as a banker was somewhat limited. And so I got the bug. I really saw the value in making sure that people had some comfort and clarity around their finances and how they take care of their families. And I've been in it ever since. I moved over into life insurance, and then I got into investments and now comprehensive planning. So I'm really excited about this career and about this business. And I'm glad that I found it or that it found me, rather.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have a specialty? Have you decided on that? It sounds like you get to know your clients a little bit and they sparked the interest. So what was it about that maybe brought you to this specialty, if you have one?
So my specialty, I'm a bit of a dual agent, if you will. I work a lot with successful millennials, and I work with young people, millennials in particular, because they are in a phase in their lives where they sort of don't have a home financially. A lot of them are starting to earn well. They're making major life decisions. They're raising their families. They're starting to get into a position in their career where they feel more stable, but there's a lot of things that are left unanswered. And in our industry, traditionally, advisors work with people who have assets, and millennials have income, but a lot of them don't have assets yet. And so I have a business model that allows me to be able to work with those people who are starting to earn some money, but don't have money to invest with people just yet.
Right.
And then the other sort of market that I'm serving are small to mid-sized privately held businesses. And that is something that I'm passionate about because I believe that small business really is the engine that runs our economy. And there are tons and tons of business owners out there who the majority of their wealth and everything that they've built is locked in their business. The average business owner has about 80% of their wealth locked in their business. And figuring out how do I unwind and harvest my personal wealth out of this business, this entity that I've built in a way that benefits my family and I can live my life the way I want to, but also in a way that honors what I've built. And I can continue to see that business thrive or know with comfort that it's going to continue to live beyond me. And so those are the two primary areas that I focus in. And I discovered that just by working with my clients through trial and error and figuring out who it is that I enjoyed serving the most and what areas that I felt were bringing the most value to my community.
All right. How do you meet your clients?
So I meet the majority of my clients through word of mouth, personal introductions, and a lot through my normal activities. I do a lot of community service work, and I'm finding that my favorite clients are people who are also civic and community service minded. So just by virtue of being out and about, and I say out and about, obviously that looks a lot different these days than it did 6 months ago. But I am learning more and more that I work most and best with people who enjoy and have similar values to mine. And through community service and through civic service, though that's where I meet the majority of them.
All right. What kind of client education do you do? And you really were speaking rather passionately there about small businesses, and these must be pretty tough times for them. So, what kind of education do you do with them to help them?
Absolutely. So education is baked into my planning process as an advisor. And that's something that we believe in strongly at Artisan Financial Strategies, myself and my business partner, Meredith Moore. When it comes to education, part of our process is to make sure that we do educational meetings. So they aren't just the traditional taking information from you and putting it into the computer and spitting out some recommendations. We believe in education because ultimately people who are educated feel empowered and you can feel confident in the decisions that you're making. And so that's the first way. It's in the planning process. We do education.
Mhm.
But then beyond that, I'm also doing normal workshops and seminars, and my business content online is geared towards education because, again, I believe that the smarter the marketplace is, the more likely they are to make empowered conversations and decisions for themselves.
Who's on your team? Do you have people with you?
Yes. So I have my business partner, Meredith Moore, who is the founder of Artisan Financial Strategies. She is phenomenal. Love her to death. She's also my mentor. And then we've got a director of operations, Sandy Jones, who is she's the one who keeps our pie in the sky, creative ideas grounded, and helps to make sure that we've got a roadmap as to actually how to implement those great ideas that we have. And then we've got Linda Powell, who is service assistant. She helps us in making sure that everything runs smoothly with taking care of our clients. And then we have Ami, who is our marketing specialist. So she helps us with gifting and client letters and things like that. So they're all awesome, really, really gifted team of people. And we only believe in having A players because ultimately that's what we want to be and that's what our clients deserve.
All right. Now, you mentioned you meet clients through community service. What is it that you do in the community?
For a long time, I was just sort of active with whatever came my way. But over the last couple of years, I've really invested heavily in two key organizations here in Atlanta that are near and dear to me. And I spend the vast majority of my time away from work doing something in capacity for these organizations. So the first is Atlanta Smart Academy, where I'm the chair of the school board. Atlanta Smart Academy is a nonprofit public charter school.
Mm-hmm.
We serve middle school, 6th and 7th grade. Unfortunately, we did have to delay our opening to next year because of COVID and everything going on with that. But that is a huge passion project of mine that I'm really excited to be on board with every day. Lots of opportunity there. And then I work with the Vision Foundation, which is a nonprofit that works with aspiring small business owners and entrepreneurs from underserved communities right here in Atlanta.
All right. Do you have any designations you want to share with us?
So I have completed coursework with the Exit Planning Institute. That goes directly to the conversation we were just having about small business owners, small to mid-sized business owners, and making sure that they're aligning themselves with the goals that are going to accelerate the value of their businesses, as well as prepare them for exiting their business, no matter how that looks. So whether that's a sell to an outside organization or third party or private equity company, or it's just transitioning the business from one generation, a father to a daughter or son, or a mother to a daughter or son. It could be a niece or nephew, whatever the situation looks like, but really helping business owners map that entire process out in a way that's going to elevate themselves and their business. And then I'm also currently taking my coursework for my CFP, Certified Financial Planner, with the American College, which I'm really thrilled about.
Adam, do you have a financial philosophy?
I would say that my financial philosophy really relies on sort of four pillars. The first one is understanding your money relative to time.
Mhm.
The second one is understanding your money relative to function. So, what is your money doing for you? And then the third one is to get in and stay in. That's about getting into the market and staying in the market long term. And then the last one is about protecting your downside. And I believe that if you do all four of those things, you'll have a good idea of what's coming in, what's going out, where to put it, where to pull it from, and you'll be protected in your downside, which ultimately is going to allow you the best possible chance to get to what you would call financial security or financial freedom.
And these are the things you all share with your clients.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. When you're not working, Adam, when you're not worrying and sweating over everybody's details, what do you do for fun?
Well, top of mind, first thing for me at all times, and anyone who knows me in my personal life can attest to this. I am a huge college sports fanatic. So I'll say it again, go Noles. I'm sure that someone out there was probably playing a drinking game or something for how many times he's going to mention the Noles on his first podcast episode. So far, I've
Two.
said Noles
Two.
4 times.
4? I thought it was 2.
Yeah, this is the 4th time.
Oh,
So
right.
number 5 here goes, go Noles, always and forever. I'm also a huge movie fan. I love movies. It's something that I grew up watching a lot of movies with my dad, and I'm into podcasts, true crime podcasts in particular. So those are my big 3. I stay active, so I do like to work out, and I've got a little competitive bone in my body from my old athlete days. So I do like to get competitive and sweat a little bit as well.
All right. What did you do as an athlete?
I was primarily a baseball player. I had some very ambitious basketball dreams, but the height monster disagreed with those dreams. And so I topped out. I stopped growing in height around 9th grade, which was fun. It's great. I used to be a tall guy, and now I'm a very average height guy. So whatever.
Hey, baseball works. Baseball works. It's good.
I love baseball, and I should have. That's one of those shoulda, coulda, woulda things. If I had been more focused in baseball, who knows what could have happened? But I had a great time with it, and it served me well.
Follow the Braves?
Of course,
Okay.
always.
Just checking. Who's your hero?
My heroes are my mom and dad, very easily. Just the way that they love, the way that they serve, the way that they support the people around them. Unfortunately, we recently lost my mom, but she loved me enough for 10 lifetimes. So that's a gratitude that I'll carry with me forever.
That's awesome, actually. Now, notwithstanding your mom and dad, do you have a favorite person in history, and why?
So I cheated again because I've got two favorite people that I'm gonna name, and I'm gonna go with James Baldwin and Bell Hooks. So I didn't mention writing as one of the things that I enjoy to do, but that is the truth. And James Baldwin and Bell Hooks, for me, are 2 of the greatest modern thinkers in the world. And I think that when people possess that type of intelligence, I think it's a great kindness that they do for the world to share their thought process and the way that they interact with the world with the rest of us, because they could apply that intelligence anywhere else. And I think what they've done with their bodies of work in writing is that they've left sort of a trail for the rest of us to wrestle with the way that we deal with complex issues socially in this world. And I think, especially in a time like now, it's an opportunity for a lot of people who aren't familiar with the work of a Baldwin or a Hooks to go back and read those things and see what type of parallels you see that stretch across time. Because I think that's one of the best places for us to learn.
Adam, which of their works do you like the most?
So for Bell Hooks, I'm going to go with Ain't I a Woman? Feminism is for Everybody is also a great book, but Ain't I a Woman is going to be at the top of my list for Bell Hooks. And then for Baldwin, it's going to be The Fire Next Time, which is Probably his most popular work, but I think that's for good reason. It's just amazing reading, and it's his way of communicating, again, very complex issues, things that are difficult for a lot of people to wrestle with. It's just one of the most amazing things I think that the earth has ever gifted the rest of us.
And what is your idea of success?
I really view success as being able to sustain healthy relationships. And ultimately, I think that's the way that your life ends up being measured. And then the other thing for me is continuing to increase my personal capacity to achieve and to serve. That's one of the ways that I feel alive, is if I have some goals to reach for, and then also some measure of being able to say that I feel effective in my pursuit of these goals. So whether that's business, whether that's community service, whatever it might be, I want to be able to feel as though I'm gaining new knowledge and new skills that make me more capable of standing up to the tasks that are in front of me.
Now, you've mentioned serving a number of times. Tell me how that impacts you.
That's a great question. I just think that service is really at the heart of a quality life in almost any capacity, whether it's interpersonal relationships, whether it's business, and that's if you're a business owner, or if we're just talking about on your day job. I think that ultimately what you're doing is you're serving other people, and you're serving a purpose, and your role in those situations, business, personal, community service, whatever it might be, is that other people are believing in and expecting and relying on you to hold up your end of the bargain, so to speak. And what I've noticed is that the greater my capacity to serve has been, the greater rewards that have come my way. And it's not about keeping score or expectations. It's not like a one-to-one measurement type of thing. But I just think that when you have a spirit of service, and you do have to be mindful and honor yourself in your own capacity, but that's why I talk about an increase in capacity to be able to serve. But when you have a spirit of service, I think that the world just finds ways to continue to reward you and bless the things that you're doing.
That was a great answer.
Thank you.
Is there one thing you recommend most to clients, family, or friends?
That would be to confront difficult conversations, especially with people that you care about. There are literal fortunes, financial fortunes, emotional and relational fortunes that go lost or squandered in conversations that are not had. And in financial planning, that is absolutely critical. Like, in the most literal of ways, families will lose out on relationships, on financial security, by virtue of simply not having conversations that are admittedly difficult, that can be uncomfortable, but they do not compare to the discomfort of the fallout that will happen later. It's sort of just kicking the can down the road. So, and financial planning is honestly one of the things that has made that most real for me, and why that message is so urgent for me, is to help people feel more comfortable having those conversations and recognizing the value and the necessity of it.
Another great answer, my dear.
Thank
All
you.
right. Do you have a mantra or a motto or something you say to yourself so that you're focused and you stay on track?
Yes.
Okay.
That one is, you don't have to be sick in order to get better. So just going back to the constant idea of reaching for some sort of improvement, and never, I like to celebrate victories. I like to celebrate wins. I think that's very important, but I also am very fearful of complacency. And I I need to remind myself that just because things are going well does not mean that they cannot be going better. And if things are not going well, then I know that they need to be going better. So you don't have to be sick to get better is at the top of the list on mantras for me.
All right. Now, I know you're relatively young. You've got lots of years ahead of you, but to this point in your life, what is your proudest achievement?
I would say that my proudest achievement so far is being successful in this career.
All right.
Prior to being an advisor and having a practice, I fancied myself an entrepreneur, but I hadn't proved it to myself. It was an aspiration. And now, having been in this business, which is a notoriously tough business, if you speak to anyone who has done it, the types of nicks and bruises that you take along the way are not fun. But my success so far and my outlook in this career are things that I take an immense amount of pride in. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that this career has challenged me to be the best version of myself. There's no safety net. And so I had to wake up every morning, and I still have to wake up every morning knowing that nothing short of my best effort is going to put me in a comfortable position. And for that reason, I've grown in so many other aspects of my life by virtue of needing to stand up to the call of being the best version of myself in this career.
All right. You have the attention of many people with this podcast right now. Who should listen to this podcast, your podcast?
I think that people who are successful and smart enough to possibly figure out things with their finances and how to take care of their family on their own, but have the wisdom to recognize the value in professional advice with clarity and transparency. Those are the people who should be listening to my podcast, because I'm here to serve as help in creating that type of clarity. So sort of a benchmark to check yourself against if you're like, hey, I've been making some decent money. We feel pretty secure, but everything that I think I need to know, I'm not entirely sure on. These are the types of conversations that we're going to have. How do you make sure that your family is not just safe right now, but safe in the long run? How do you plan for some of the larger or more confusing purchases that you have to make? How do you take care of aging parents? How do you make sure that you're able to give in the way that you want to your church or your alma mater or your Greek letter organization or whatever it might be? So people who have reached some measure of success, and if they had the time, could surely figure all this out on their own, but are looking for a support system and a framework that will allow them to check those boxes. This is the podcast for you.
And how can people reach you?
You can reach us at Artisan FS Online. That's Artisan FS as in financial strategies online.com. And you can reach me directly at Tolliver. That's ATOLLIVER at artisanfsonline.com.
Adam, thank you so much. Adam Tolliver of Artisan Financial Strategies. To subscribe to Adam's podcast, The Business That Pays, you can tap the subscribe button on this page, and you can also share with the share button. I'm Patrice Sikora, and let's talk again later.
Thank you for listening to Business That Pays. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guests and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of the Artisan Financial Strategies. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial professional provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment strategies.